Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Pelosi just announced this morning a plan to forcibly remove President Trump under COG. That's FEMA martial law plans for nuclear war and other disasters like an asteroid hitting the planet. She just announced a COG briefing plan to forcibly remove President Trump one way or another. She says he's leaving and that she is second in command and will be president. When you know the technicals, that's what she actually said. This is the most dangerous information ever because, as we've told you, they've been quietly preparing for this and quietly speaking to top brass, getting them in line and telling them you'll be put in prison if you don't submit to this illegal action. Americans are under absolute attack. America is under total attack. And Americans are under martial law right now with the COVID-19 put in place by the bureaucracies, the United Nations, and the Democrats, allied with major corporations. It's up to we, the people, to realize we're going into total bondage and slavery if we don't wake up and say no now. Here is the incredible evil of Nancy Pelosi normalizing the deep state, physically removing the president and fumigating him like a rodent or a cockroach. Hear it for yourself. This isn't treason because this woman's never been an American. She's a globalist and enemy of this country. It's us or them, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is, the monster, Nancy Pelosi.
Whether he knows it yet or not, he will be leaving. Just because he might not want to move out of the White House doesn't mean we won't have an inauguration ceremony to inaugurate a duly elected president of the United States. And I'm second in line to the presidency. And just last week, I had my regular continuation of government briefing. This might interest you because I say to them, this is never going to happen. God willing, it never will. But there is a process. It has nothing to do with if the certain occupant of the White House doesn't feel like moving and has to be fumigated out of there because the presidency is the presidency. It's not geography or location.
I've been telling you this since President Trump got elected. InfoWars has been the first and the most accurate to lay out the deep state's plan to use continuity of government systems to forcibly remove the president outside of impeachment and outside of the 25th Amendment. Now, since I analyzed the propaganda they were putting out 3.5 years ago, preparing the public for this, I began to, again, warn specifically for signs that they're getting ready to go operational if their impeachment and their Russiagate and other things failed, which have all failed. So now they've put the country into a type of civil war unrest. They have locked it down in a type of martial law with the COVID-19. So in case the American people resist, they have COVID-19 as the cover story to keep things locked down. And now the Council on Foreign Relations, the Washington Post, have all come out and said, we're looking at removing the president. And they're already setting the precedent and they're already laying the groundwork and the talking points that they're going to contest the election and they're going to engage in massive election fraud. And then if Trump can test back to what they're saying when they say they really won, that the military needs to remove the president or those military officers themselves will be charged and put in prison. So they're trying to legitimize a new super witch hunt that anyone that points out election fraud or anyone that points out powerful corporate and multinational forces trying to undermine the election of 2016 is an enemy of the country that will be arrested. Think about the magnitude of the clip you just heard. Now, she can barely talk. She's just a puppet. But you heard her say, I was in COG meetings last week. I am second in line. No, lady, it's the vice president and then you're third. But see, she just sees it as an administration. And the word is Pence is the real deal. So they're not planning on trying to get Pence to be their minion. They're going to try to remove him as well. And they're talking about doing it even before the election 100 days out. So the fact that this creature is now on television openly saying whether he likes it or not, we're going to fumigate him out of there. We're going to get rid of him. He's going to be gone. And she mentioned COG tells you that they are seriously planning on running this operation. That's why they've had a bunch of the top brass, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, come out and run the president down in public, signaling they're going to roll over during this. So we have to call the White House. We have to go bullhorn the White House. We have to go out to all the events we can and hit the streets and point out that we're aware of what's happening and we're aware of the election fraud and the attempt to overturn the election, the attempt almost 4 years ago to not let the delegates be seated when President Trump won the election. I mean, we've already witnessed Nancy Pelosi's daughter quarterback the operation to try to get Trump not inaugurated 3.5, almost 4 years ago. So they're doing it again, but this time they're building teeth into it. So everyone, including Roger Stone, you name it, needs to contact Trump and needs to make this the front and center issue. Because if we sit here caught flat-footed and don't realize they're preparing the talking points for this to then activate nationwide riots and say it's all Trump's fault and try to drive him from office and try to have some group within the military physically take out the president, and Pelosi's calling him a pest that has to be fumigated out like cockroaches or bed bugs, this is absolutely happening. This is going down. It's unfolding. And I'll just say this. If we don't stand up and speak out against this, we'll never fight when the time comes if we're forced to. Now is the time to be politically extremely vocal in however you can, and to make sure the governors raise the alarm, to make sure the legislatures raise the alarm, because these criminals are working with the communist Chinese. They're working with multinational corporations, trying to break our borders and break the sovereignty, and Democrats are running the dollar down constantly, saying it's the end of American dominance to be replaced with communist China. This is beyond treason. This is psychotic control freak behavior by these lunatics, and we must all say no. So America is now facing the greatest threat in its history. Now, you just heard what Pelosi said, but we're going to play it again one more time so you can hear it. And I'm asking all other talk show hosts to cover this and to research this and to raise the alarm. It isn't about who gets the credit. It's about the fact that we've been right over and over again. And I know it sounds radical to say they're preparing this, but now they're publicly saying it. This is the coup against America. They already tried to overthrow an elected president. They've already tried to suppress the American people and censor us. We've slidden already into a great tyranny. The only thing left is Trump and the American people fighting it. So we have to recognize how much trouble we're in and say no to this now. This is a maximum alert. I'm asking all the InfoWars hosts to make this their main focus. This is the issue with 100 days out. Ladies and gentlemen, the rest is up to you. God bless and good luck.
Whether he knows it yet or not, he will be leaving. Just because he might not want to move out of the White House doesn't mean we won't have an inauguration ceremony to inaugurate a duly elected president of the United States. And I'm second in line to the presidency. And just last week, I had my regular continuation of government briefing. This might interest you because I say to them, this is never going to happen. God willing, it never will. But there is a process. It has nothing to do with if the certain occupant of the White House doesn't feel like moving and has to be fumigated out of there, because the presidency is the presidency. It's not geography or location.
Go to Infowars.com and get the Turbo Force. I work long hours. I work 18, 19 hours a day sometimes. Sometimes I work 24 hours because we're so short-handed with the coronavirus. People don't want to come to work. But some people just taking an option, and I'm cool with that. But anyways, I take the Turbo Force. He's got a product called Turbo Force All Natural. Man, the energy is amazing. I get about 10 hours worth of just sustained energy. I'm recommending these websites, I'm recommending these products, not because I get paid, I don't get a referral fee or anything like that. This is just my personal experience. I know their brands, but their brands and their websites, they're very famous. A lot of people know who they are. I take products from people that I've been listening to for years, and I've been listening to Infowars.com for years. I've been listening to Dr. Root for years and years. I've taken a lot of supplements from other companies, other places, and a lot of that crap is snake oil. Believe me, snake oil. But the Turbo Force, I take that and I'm good for the entire day. I'm good for like 12, 13 hours at least. But anyways, I can't speak enough to it. Working long hours. I need it. Turbo Force. Infowars.com.